Hi, and good evening, everyone from Barbies, everyone from Region 6, everyone from Region 5. Um, my name is Bond, James Bond, and it's an honor and a privilege to be here with you this evening, just to speak on a few things with you. Tonight's program is going to be a bit of a soft introduction um, to James Bond, so to speak, and then with the other programs, we're going to come hard hitting and informative. But first, let me thank the staff of DTV 8 for facilitating. They've been wonderful, they've been kind, and I must say thank you to them publicly for making available this space so we could talk, discuss, and be informed on what is happening not in our country, but internationally as well. But more importantly, right here, Region 6 and Region 5. Most of you may know me as a politician, as a lawyer, as a businessman. Most persons in Barbados would know me as a state council who served here for a number of years. And I must say good evening to the good folks of New Amsterdam. I must say good evening to the Christie family. Naomi Christie is like a sister to me on Pearl. I know I'm not on Little Rock, but I'm on DTV. But they're like family to me, and I must say good night to them. I must say good night to the PPPC cluster here in Amsterdam, including Sean, and I can't call everyone named Kwesi. I don't remember everybody's name, but good evening to the New Amsterdam PPPC cluster. The young people who work and who campaign, who share the Mirror newspaper, who spread the party's message. Good evening to you guys. But like again, I said, most persons know me wearing a number of hats. And most persons also know me as a member of the APNU AFC, former presidential nominee or candidate, contesting to be candidate of the APNU, also Central Executive member of the PNC, member of the APNU Leadership Council. I've done it most, member of parliament as well. I've done it most, not all, in politics for the opposition. And then when we got in government, and I've decided this time around I'm going to support the People's Progressive Party Civic. I'm going to support President Irfan Ali and his vision for Guyana. And here I am now, doing what I think every member of the PPPC is doing, is spreading and promoting the party's message. Yes, I am a member of the PPPC. I had resigned from the PNC, I think it was last month, and I'm a member of the PPPC. We have a group in Melanie there. I'm a member of that group. So I think the General Secretary has set a mandate for every single comrade to spread the party's message. We are living in a day of mass disinformation, mass misinformation. And it is important that we meet frontally the misinformation with information, with facts. Some persons in this country, they're averse to facts. They don't like facts. They're allergic to it. And it's our duty not just to spoon feed them the facts, but ensure we dose them with a significant dose of facts. But we'll get to that sooner or later in probably our programs. But I just want to set the agenda and tone for what we're going to be doing here every Saturday. We're going to be trying to get on here from about 6:30 to 7:30 every Saturday. The traffic is good. The traffic is good. Now I know I have to leave 3 hours before to get to my destination. I'm a person, I don't complain about traffic. I see persons complaining about roads. But I could tell people, the People's Progressive Party Civic has done over 4,000 kilometers of road. Over 3,000 community roads have been done. Major highways, Regions 4, Region 10. The massive infrastructure when it comes to roads is being done in this country is amazing. It's phenomenal. But you know, persons we're going to latch on to when a foreigner says, what, concussion road? But we know that 95% of the roads in this country are done well, and they're holding up well, and they provide a tremendous service to the Guyanese people. 95% of the roads done in this country serve in carrying our people and easing the difficulties that they were enduring in the past. I think it was, again, the GS who mentioned, imagine if those roads were not done. The roads, the Heroes Highway that was not done on the East Bank. Imagine if that was not done by the People's Progressive Party Civic. What hardships we would have had to endure on the East Bank corridor. And now we see the roads that are done from Schooner to Crane. We see now there's the 4-lane highway that is going to be done on the East Bank, on the East Coast. I see the bridge went out there and there was a bit of a traffic congestion, but imagine the ease that we're going to be able to traverse the East Coast corridor with that when that road is completed. And then you have the Ogle to linking the Heroes Highway, the Ogle to the East Bank. Oh, that road is even coming further up on the backlands behind LBI, going all the way up. Imagine all this massive network of roads. Even down in regions 3, there's going to be roads linking from Parika to Goshen. It's going to be massive in this country. It's going to be extremely, extremely massive what is being done by the People's Progressive Party Civic. So we're not a complaining people. We're a people of vision. We're a people who see the needs of the people and try to fix those needs, answer those needs. But of course you're going to have the naysayers and the detractors, but we're not to be dissuaded. We're not to be dissuaded. So that being said, let us have a brief discussion on what is happening right now as it relates to a concern that we've had in relation to the tariffs imposed. As persons know that the countries that experience a trade surplus with the United States, Donald Trump, the President of the United States, signed an executive order in which he imposed tariffs on those countries who enjoy the trade surplus with us. And the formula that they used brought them to say that resulted in them attributing to us a 30% tariff, increase in tariff on certain products. As most persons know that some of our products are not subject to the tariff. I think our oil, our sugar, our gold, those products are exempted from our tariffs. And most commentators, most international trade commentators are decrying the tariffs for one reason is that where you have certain exemptions, it opens a door to corruption. It opens a door for lobbyists to sneak in to say, well, oh, these things are not exempt and certain other things are not exempt. So the tariffs, in my estimation, though it is intended to put America first, may have some consequences on America. For example, the estimate of recession, they were estimating a recession of 15% likelihood of it. Well, now it's jumped to 20% likelihood of a recession in America. We've seen the stock market take tremendous hits in America because of these trade wars with China and Canada, with Mexico, because of the imposition of these tariffs. So I believe in the long run there will be a reversal of these tariffs because most persons know that free trade is the way to go. You have to be competitive, and I believe that these tariffs will become a rallying cry for us in the Caribbean. You know, and you already heard it. I made a post. For those who do not follow me on Facebook, you could follow me on Facebook, James Bond. I'm in my bright red shirt and my red hat, just so you know that you don't look for Daniel Craig or one of the other actors when you looking for James Bond. So what this will do, I think, will become a rallying cry for us in the Caribbean. And Mia Mottley, the Prime Minister of Barbados, she's made some comments on the effect of the tariffs. But in all of the things that she said, she painted a bleak and gloomy picture at the beginning. You know, she says we're in the looming economic crises and we're in multiple wars in Ukraine, in Africa, etc. And things are not looking good. But you know what she healed, what she found exemplary, what she highlighted is the successes of the agriculture, the successes of agriculture in the sector for the CARICOM, which is led by His Excellency President Irfan Ali. And congrats to President Irfan Ali on receiving his latest award from Berkeley University. So she stated quite emphatically that because of the vision and the push to have us self-sufficient in the area of food security, it bodes well for CARICOM and the Caribbean. As most persons know, President Ali is front and foremost in CARICOM in pushing the self-sufficiency agenda. His program of 25 by 25, which is to reduce by 25% the imports from the US and elsewhere, food imports, 25 by year 2025, and it's now been extended to year 2030. And President Ali has championed advancing the agricultural sector throughout in every single country of CARICOM. Most persons may not know, but your own Minister Zulfikar, he chairs the ministerial task force for CARICOM, and he's been doing a fantastic job as well in terms of having the Caribbean countries in a state of preparedness to meet the food demands of the region, which exceeds $4 billion US. At present, the Guyanese heroes, our Guyanese leaders have been making inroads and making strides in Trinidad and St. Lucia and other countries, not just by giving them the expertise and training, but we also investing in resuscitating industries in these countries. For example, in Trinidad, we resuscitated the rice industry in Trinidad. And most persons in Guyana do not know this. Kudos to our rice farmers. I know you guys have been having a bumper crop recently, and it's all due to the strongest strain of rice brought in, imported and used here in Guyana. And also, you know, the president has been front and foremost in cushioning the effects of the low world prices in rice. They've cushioned that. They've removed taxes, they've removed hindrances, they've even provided millions upon millions of dollars in subsidies in fertilizers, etc. And now, the General Secretary, Vice President Barajaglio, he's saying the next agenda in terms of alleviating the stresses of the rice farmers is to reduce the cost of land rentals. So now that means more money for our rice farmers. So in Trinidad, we've done tremendous things in rice, and the other countries we provide training and expertise in how to grow crops and what crops to grow, even providing them with the technical assistance and personnel to fast track growth in the agricultural sector in these regions. So Guyana has been front, foremost, and center in terms of bringing the CARICOM, bringing that self-determination, that self-independence in terms of food security. And that is something will cushion whatever effects we have. Now, you probably read recently in the newspapers $422 million worth contract in terms of our power lines, in terms of our power generation, in terms of the lines and the poles, etc., to carry the load. You know, we're going to be producing about 300 megawatts of power electricity shortly when that gas energy project comes on stream. So Guyana now is poised to becoming we're already there in terms of the garden, in terms of the breadbasket of the Caribbean, but now we're also poised to become the manufacturing hub of the Caribbean. And where you have to depend on certain imports from the US and China, etc., Guyana can now become the place where these things are done. In terms of having refineries, I see things like the oil refinery, the coal refinery. We could have steel refineries and steel plants, etc. So right here in Guyana, and again, you have to have a big vision, and that the People's Progressive Party has always been. They've been a party of vision, a party who executes a vision. They're not afraid to do what's right by the people and think big. All right, so we are poised to become, at present, the manufacturing hub of the Caribbean. And you know, right here in Region 6, there's scope and there's an intent to put a deep water harbor right here in Region 6. As most persons are hearing through the grapevine that these things should come on stream. And this means clearly that Guyana, Region 6, will benefit tremendously from if we were to have all these manufacturing hubs here, these industrial complexes here, in which we could export our sister CARICOM countries and wider afield. So in the next few years, our economy will look vastly different from it was in the 90s and the 2000s and the 2010s, even recently. The entire landscape, and I must say this, I must commend the government, is that when persons are saying oil money is doing it, they must know that 60% of the economy, which is non-oil, is financing our economy. Our GDP is not just about oil, it's about rice, and it's about lumber and gold and every other thing, farming. And another thing I love talking about, because in 2000, I think it was 3 years ago or 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to see and visit the Agriculture Expo. And it's something that sparked a degree of enthusiasm with me. And I must say, the non-traditional crops right here, millions upon millions of dollars. I think it's 900 million in non-traditional crops we exported. In terms of the shrimp industry, we a couple 100,000 tons. We're supposed to be like 500,000 kilos, sorry. About 500,000 kilos we're supposed to ramp up production to. About $723 million is being injected into the brackish water shrimp projects, which is not only just in Regions 5 and Region 6, but it's also spread to the hinterland areas as well. So there's so much positive. What you find in this program, we'll be speaking a lot about the positives. I think this is how we counter that misinformation, as if nothing is going on in Guyana, as if Guyana is blighted, as if Guyana is somehow now a backwater country. Guyana is a leader. And let me repeat that again. Guyana is a leader, not only in CARICOM, but the world. We are leaders in agriculture. We are leaders in innovation. I think the award the president got was one in regards to innovation, which means we're tackling things from a modern perspective. The president's innovative, in terms of agriculture, program is just a testament in which, in terms of having to have a lot of manpower in raising poultry, meat birds, etc. These pens and this is now going to be mechanized, modernized, to reduce biosecurity hazards that occur. Because one farmer mentioned to me the other day that bird flu killed out the majority of his crops. So with modernizing and having less of a human interaction with the birds, we are bound to see greater increase in production, and of course greater profit for our people. I always advocate for young people to get involved in agriculture, for young people to get involved in agriculture. It's not just planting, but there's so much to be done in terms of the byproducts of it, in terms of food processing and agro-processing. That is something that is tremendously lucrative in Guyana at present, adding value to the raw materials, the pepper sauces, etc. There's always scope for these things in the CARICOM and even at home here. But back to the shrimp. This is I think the government is targeting to have $1 billion shrimp industry here in Guyana. So now I'm not talking $1 billion local Guyana dollars, billion US dollar shrimp industry here in Guyana. And it is possible because the government is prepared to invest in its people. It's not just taking the oil monies and putting it up and taking the oil monies and spending it recklessly, as some persons are suggesting, but we're taking the resources and revenue that we get to invest back into the people. And that is important. Everybody could attest to the fact that, yes, you may see a lot of roads being done, but you also see hospitals being built and schools being built, something that the previous administration shied away from in terms of building and leaving a legacy for our people. And you find that we're investing directly to the people. Just recently, I had a walkabout with Minister Indar, and he was saying we have about, was it 300 projects or something to complete, but we have about 800 contractors in Region 4, in which show, and he says we have to find work for everybody. You know, we have to find work for people. And one thing I love about the People's Progressive Party Civic, and I must thank them. Let me just take an aside now to thank. I think I should name drop. I should name drop certain persons who welcomed me with open arms. Start with the president, of course, and the general secretary, of course, who welcomed me with open arms to the People's Progressive Party Civic. I must also thank Minister McCoy, Jason Abdullah, Steve, Minister Rodriguez, Minister Crowell, Minister Indar. All the ministers have been extremely welcoming. Minister Hamilton, I think, more importantly, Minister Hamilton, who met me at State House, and he says, James, you may want to bring certain changes, but you could effect more change working with the government. And I think that resonated with me a bit. So Minister Joseph Hamilton, thank you. And I just had a conversation with former Minister Nigel Darmala, who is a hard worker for the party, and he was just giving me some advice, some good advice, because transitioning from one political party to the other may not necessarily be easy. But I must say that the comrades in the PPC, all the ordinary comrades, all the vice chairman and the members, they have been extremely warm and welcoming. And so the transition has been extremely easy. Persons saying that people are bashing you and people are this, but I don't even see that. You know, I could only speak of the love and affection, the kind of camaraderie that I've seen and witnessed within the People's Progressive Party Civic. And I could tell you, at present, the People's Progressive Party Civic is the only mass-based multi-ethnic party in Guyana. There's no other. There is no other mass party, multi-ethnic party, but the People's Progressive Party Civic. And it shows. Wherever you go, wherever you walk, whatever you do, you see people gravitating to the People's Progressive Party Civic and its policies. And it's not because persons think that it's just because they're in government, no. But it's the way they treat people. You know, if you were around long enough, or around a lot of the ministers and the leaders of the party, you will hear them say, we have to take care of our people. And the GS, you know, I tend to say, I'm learning from him, soaking up a lot of what he is saying and what he says. And he says clearly, if you're not into helping people, then the People's Progressive Party Civic is not for you. So the People's Progressive Party Civic is designed to bring to the fore people who want to help people, you know, who want to help people. And the entire country is our friends, families, and favorites. I make no apology with that. The entire country. Yesterday we were walking in Beirut, and you persons may think that these are strongholds for the opposition, but they're weak holes. they're probably strongholds for us now. And we were walking, and a young man came up, Joshua Joken. He's from Melanie North, but he's walking with the minister. This is a young man walking with the minister. And he says, Minister, I want to do something. And on the spot, the minister says, okay, no problem. We'll make sure that you get something to do. And don't let them tell you that doing roads and doing drains and clean up your community is something demeaning. There's nothing demeaning about hard work. And what most persons don't know, and I could tell you, that those cleaning contracts, if you clean a drain, a canal, whatever the case, within 1 week, sometimes it's 1 point something million dollars. And most of the young persons who are doing, who have probably a 9-to-5, who probably have a cook shop or doing something, they're not earning that money. But when the government provides that opportunity for them to do something, do a road in their community, and I must say this, I must commend the government tremendously. Tremendously, I must commend the government for ensuring that the community roads are being done by members from the community. Good night to our Vice Chair, Comrade Hussein. Good night to our Chairman, Mr. Armagon. Good night to everyone in Region 6, the entire leadership. I just was thinking, I just forgot, remember I forgot those two key critical persons. Sean, I think I didn't mention Sean. But all of the community roads are being done by members of the community. And I think the minister also said, look, we don't want people from outside the community to come in the community and do any work. And that is important, so that the residents have a buy-in. They're not only benefiting from the road and the bridges and the clean drains to reduce flooding. See, persons understand the importance of these things. So they belittle them. Persons who have done nothing with their lives, their entire lives, are now trying to denigrate people who are keeping the communities clean. If you're having free-flowing drain, there's reduced flooding. Then you don't have the mosquitoes around and other parasites around. You know, so these things are important to the community. And instead of government micromanaging and taking their excavators and their workforce into doing these things, they're ensuring that the residents, that the community have a buy-in on the front end and on the back end, that they're being paid to do it. And that is a remarkable model. That's a model that injects money directly into the pockets of our people. And when persons talk about the high cost of living, these are things that the government is doing to ensure that we're insulated from the cost of living. These, not only with raising of salaries and raising of pensions and doubling of the pension, and I just see recently the subventions have moved from 5 to 30 million for NDCs, and from I think 30 to 50 million dollars for the municipalities. Those are significant injections into the local democratic arms, into the local economies of our communities. And these are things, these are extremely positive things in our country, extremely positive things. And we must take note of it. And again, we must robustly, right here in Region 6 and Region 5, we must defend the government on its agenda. We must. When you're driving over in Regions 5, along Regions 5 into Region 6, along this corridor, you see the development. You see the tremendous investment government has made in the lives of Regions 5 and Region 6. Just at Babu John, the President highlighted a number of things that they have done, and creating a new whole new contractor class, moving from a couple of hundred to now over 1,000 contractors employed by the NDC and the RDC. That is tremendous. The number of new hospitals, the new malls are going up. The bridges, the bridge linking Suriname with Guyana, having a municipal airport right here in Region 6. These are things that will improve the lives tremendously of our people right here in Regions 5 and Region 6. Growing of hemp and tobacco, over 26,000 acres of land designated to non-traditional crops and other crops. So even persons on the sugar belt, even if there's we're not planting sugar in certain areas, we're making sure that we provide for farmers who want to farm and utilize the land for different things. And these are the kind of initiatives that we must protect. I'm using that word not in a sense, not loosely. I must say there are certain gains. I believe there are certain gains that the government has made. There are certain initiatives that the government has have implemented, that if we allow certain persons to have the reins of government, that these gains will dissipate, that they will reverse these gains. And we must protect these initiatives. We must protect it. We must protect the investment in non-traditional crafts. We must protect the investment in our children, billions of dollars spent in education and new schools. We must protect the investment in new hospitals and the refurbishing of the existing ones. We must protect these things. And we cannot allow, at this moment, at this juncture in our in our history to be beguiled by some who, without any experience, without any knowledge, with any wherewithal, to come now to say that the government should be changed or removed. I say without any doubt, I stand with the People's Progressive Party Civic, and I urge my fellow citizens, especially in Region 5 and Region 6, to not be hoodwinked and bamboozled. Politicians, as you know, come dime a dozen. Everybody's a politician these days. It's election years. Everybody has an opinion. But you must stick with who's been tried and tested. Who stuck with you when your estates were being closed? Who stuck with you? It was the People's Progressive Party Civic. Who stuck with you when you were on the breadline? Who stuck with you when Fisher Folk were abandoned? And now you see the tremendous investment that we're actually making with the Fisher Folk, and advising them and reforming cooperatives, and direct hundreds of millions of dollars is being spent for our Fisher Folk. Cash grants have been given to our Fisher Folk. Who's done that for you? The People's Progressive Party Civic. So we must ensure that the party that looks out for us, we look out for them. You know, I had cause to tell someone the other day, it's like, we're not saying, and I would never say we were at war with any political party or at war with any individual. We're not at war with anybody, but we're in the business of influencing minds and influencing friends. And we must ensure that our influence is maintained in this region. We must ensure that our presence is felt. We must not let our comrades be led astray, because it's easy to be bamboozled with glistening and glittering objects. It's easy to be bamboozled, but we must remember who stuck with us. We must remember, and most persons would know that's the reason I would have said I supported the president when the political party I once belonged to was not inviting me, was not saying, James, how you doing? It was President Ali, you know, who constantly message me and see me and talk to me, and says, James, how you doing? You know, that is the person. So I have always said it, that I support the president because he's someone who's always been in my corner. Even so, I think someone says, oh, when I was being arrested and all of that, President Ali was not my. Let me say this here. There are certain things I would never ask of the president, to intervene in any matter on my behalf. I could take care of myself. You know, when the police vehicle come for me, I jumped in the police vehicle. They could tell you. I could take care of myself. When the police came to arrest me, I think my mama said, James, talk to somebody. I said, no, I don't want, I'm not talking to a single soul for bail or for anything. If persons don't know, I'm a radical, you know. So I don't need to call the president and say, oh, I just got arrested. Oh, no. I could take care of myself. And I took care of myself. After a while, I met with the Commissioner of Police. Good night, Mr. Clifton Hicken. I call him my godfather. He's someone who's been extremely good to me, advising me for a number of years. Persons may not know that, but I rely on the advice of the Commissioner of Police. And I met with him and I said, these are my difficulties. And he looked into it, and that was sorted out. You see, the police and I are best of friends now. Good night, Mr. Kali Parsham, Commander C Division. You know, so at the end of the day, I could take care of myself. So I don't need to bother the president or bother anybody for anything that has happened to James Bond. James Bond could take care of himself. This is my country. I'm an attorney and I know my way around the system. So the long and short of the matter is, we are sticking by who's sticking with us. And we're supporting those who are supporting us. And we're advising and encouraging persons to join our ranks. We're not in any way or shape or form pushing anybody away from joining and gravitating to the People's Progressive Party Civic. But we are ensuring that we advise our families and our friends that we are supporting the People's Progressive Party Civic. And our support is unwavering. Our support is unwavering. It is unyielding. And there be no Johnny come latelys or no smooth talkers that will be coming to dissuade our people from supporting the People's Progressive Party Civic. This is serious business. Our country, as I said it on a number of occasions, our country is on a trajectory that we've never seen. And persons use the fastest growing economy loosely. But people around the world recognize the growth of our economy. People recognize the way in which we've managed the economy to protect and insulate us from the Dutch disease and other negative impacts for generations to come. Most persons don't know. And that is why it's a good thing to listen to the press conference of the General Secretary and Vice President every Thursday. You must tune in from 2 o'clock. It's on Facebook Live. It's on a number of channels. I'm now beginning to carry it live on my page because you get a lot of information there. We are far advanced in terms of protecting our interests, in terms of securing our future, than most countries when they started out. We have done most, if not, what they've done in 15 years, we've already done in year 2, 3, 4, 5. We've already done it, we've done it 30 years, we've done it in years 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we must commend the government. And persons may come and say, oh, we're not doing enough in terms of, we are way ahead in protecting and insulating us from all these negative impacts that they're talking about, because we've secured ourselves. The National Natural Resource Fund, the clauses there in terms of how we spend, in terms of how we invest, that is a solid document, a solid piece of legislation. But persons may tell you, will want to tell you, hey, we're abusing it. You know, we were way ahead. Some countries didn't even have an NRF until about 10, 15, 20 years. And we've already had one. We already have one. So there's a number of things that are happening, but you know, there are the negaholics who will come to tell you nothing is being done. And everything that is being done badly. But that is not the case. That is not the case. And no one could say, oh, everything is being run perfectly. Of course not. And the government is first to point out certain things that are not going good. And pointing to mention the same things with the roads. I can remember a number of persons within the People's Progressive Party Civic criticizing the roads and saying the roads need to be done better. You know, the president, the now famous 5:30 meeting, and was saying there's a lot that is going on that should not be going on, and we need to fix it. And these are things you don't normally hear. I know back in the day when a certain, the last coalition raised the salaries of the ministers scale. Not everybody got 50%. Some got 50%, some got 30%, some got 5%. But a certain ministers, they have no apologies to make for giving themselves an increase before the public servants. This is not the case with this government. This government has, on a number of occasions, says, look, certain things are not being done and we're going to fix it. Even to just recently, Minister Hamilton says my remarks were taken out, were a bit sensitive, and he made an apology for his remarks. And so this government is touched with when our people are affected, you know. So don't let people tell you that this government is not a government with a human touch. We have already shown that we care more about the people than any other administration. And that is why the People's Progressive Party Civic is the most popular political party in Guyana right now. That is why the People's Progressive Party Civic, when the ministers go out and representatives go out, the people are coming out in huge numbers to see them, because they know that this government is for the people, 100% for the people. So We have to examine that. And another thing that we have to examine is the treatment of our young people by this government. This administration has shown a commitment to young people that we haven't seen in quite a long time. And for example, myself, in politics and being a politician, I've never seen a political party committed to improving the lives of young people as this government. And I've said it, and I'm going to say it again so that Region 506 hear me. No young person should vote for APNU AFC. No young person. Don't waste your vote. Do not waste your vote. I just had, I listened to the opposition leader's comments, his general counsel comments, his introductory remarks. And it struck a chord with me once again. And I must say this, I said I would not, I will never criticize or say anything negative about Aubrey Norton, because I have his number and I could call him and speak to him. But he made some comments in his introduction that I'm saying the politics of the coalition will never change. And he was saying that they will reach out to the mothers in the markets and the fathers here and everybody's there, the teachers in the classrooms, etc., and the youths on the streets. I pause for emphasis there. He places every category of person as somewhere tangible and substantial. Mothers in the markets, teachers in the classroom, nurses in the hospitals, youths on the streets. That's a view of young people, that we're just on the streets. But not we, I'm now 46 years of age, so I'm no longer a youth. But is that how you see young people? They're just people on the streets. When we've made education free, when we've trained thousands of persons with the Ministry of Labor, BIT, when we've had thousands of young people with the gold scholarships, when we have thousands of young people benefiting from small business grants, when we have thousands of young people benefiting from rehabilitated and new sports complexes and grounds, when we have hundreds of young people who are now businessmen and businesswomen, that we youths on the streets. Yeah. But that is the mindset, is that young people can do so much and no more. R.I.P. to Javon Stephen. R.I.P. Javon Stephen. That was my little brother. We went to President's College together. A young man I worked with. And I know vividly after the coalition, after 2015, when we all worked extremely hard. We carried the energy of the campaign. And Javon, of course, in Region 6 here was leading the campaign for the young people. And after the elections, there was no place for us. Javon had to go running around, and thank God for Minister Lawrence, who said Javon to manage, became RHO for Region 6. There was no place for young people. Not a single young person in the cabinet. Not a single one. Whereas in the People's Progressive Party Civic, they have a number of young people in cabinet. It's probably one of the youngest governments we've seen. Well, after independence in 64, with pre-independence, 64 had pretty young. I think Dr. Chejang was in his 30s. If my memory serves me correctly. A number of persons were quite young. But now we've seen two presidents come from the People's Progressive Party Civic, both under 40. The first one was Dr. Jagan, and now President Ali. No young person. Young persons in New Amsterdam, young persons in Region 6 from all East Bank Berbice, young persons Region 5, West Coast Berbice. Do not waste your vote. The only party that cares and has a care and concern for young people in this country is the People's Progressive Party Civic. The People's Progressive Party Civic. And they've shown they're not afraid to invest in the young people. They're not afraid to trust young people with leadership. And that speaks volumes. You see what happens with the coalition is that at first they're going to be tell you, yes, we have young people here and young people there. But you watch and see after that election comes and that vote comes. And they like to divide the spoils, as the president, as Vice President Jacques says. Instead of coming with a program, they come with a plan to how to divide the spoils. I found that comment realistically funny, but it might be funny, but it is true. After the election and there's spoils to be divided, you'll see young people, you get nothing. You'll get nothing. And it's quite unfortunate that we hear all this talk about the youths are the future and the youths are this and youths are that. But when it comes to trusting young people with leadership, trusting young people with the reins of this country, they're not prepared to do that. They rather take their friends that they went to school with, their buddies and their pals. But they'll accuse the People's Progressive Party Civic of being about friends and families and favorites. But you check it. You check it. So young people, I again urge you to be mindful of your vote. Your vote should go to the People's Progressive Party Civic, who've done tremendously well in supporting your visions, your ideas, all along from the get-go, and are not afraid to ensure that you have a seat at the table. Right there in Region 4, when my good friend Ram Kumar Siraj, I think, he had to become the High Commissioner of India. They chose young Pandit Suraj Singh to replace him, a young man, hard worker. He may not be listening to my program. He's in Region 4. But they chose a young person to replace him. They didn't go for a geriatric. And I'm being respectful here. They didn't go for, the elders are there to advise, but the brunt, the energy should be given to the young people. The shoulders of the young people are the shoulders that will carry this nation forward. We believe in young people and the youth. We believe in you. And we know you're not just limers and scrape heads and dunstogs. We know that you have a vision for yourself. We know you have a vision for the country. And the government is willing and able to support you. I know my time is winding down. My time is up. And that's how fast an hour goes. So again, thank you. It will not just be me alone on Progressive Force. I have persons from right here in Regions 5 and 6. And also I may walk with a guest or two from Georgetown. So with that being said, thank you for tuning in. I must say God bless you all.